Welcome to the Cluttered Corner. Today is day 6 of Inktober, and the word is trek. I don't know what to draw for that. So we're just gonna start drawing and see what happens. I'm gonna use my Kuretake brush pen. Trek, huh? Let's see. Let's draw somebody on a trek. I'll figure out what they are. Oh, I think it's a snake. I love drawing a snake. And tongue. A snake can go on a trek. I mean, usually you think of a trek as being like something where you need a thing. Feet. You need to actually walk. I'm going to give this snake a walking stick, even though it's not walking, it's snaking around. I love drawing snakes in like weird situations, or like wearing cute hats, stuff that snakes don't normally do. You wouldn't expect of them. I think they have nostrils. That makes it look a little bit like a dragon, but you know what? A dragon would have wings and feet, and this one does not. So it's on a trek, and I think a trek kind of has to be difficult, so let's make it go uphill. Because probably even snakes have trouble going uphill. Uphill is tough. When I was in college, I lived in a town, that was, everywhere you went, it was actually uphill both ways somehow. And this kind of makes me think of that. I wouldn't have described that as a trek, but, I mean, if you're out in the woods, maybe. So let's do this. I guess these trees are in the distance because they're so small. These are like off of the edge of this cliff that the snake is on. And these are bushes here. So, yeah, I'm just gonna, hopefully you can see that. I'm just gonna add some like tree shapes back here to indicate that there are a lot of trees. And they are all evergreen trees, because I know how to draw those. Because that's what we have here. We don't have a lot of deciduous trees here in the Northwest. I mean, we have them, but it's not the same as, like, I don't know, like the East Coast. I think they have a lot. But we mostly just have pine trees and things that are like pine trees that might not technically be pine trees, because I'm not sure what defines it. But they're all evergreen trees like this. Or, you know, not all the trees, as I said, but these kind. Okay. Now, I don't know if it's clear that this is in the distance. So I'm going to try and, like, I don't know how to make that clear. I'm going to put some road over here. And I think that kind of helps. Maybe it's something that I can clear up when I paint it. Probably not. It seems like something that is just gonna be that way. But you know what? Actually, I think that works. And now let's draw some rough spots on this path, because it's not a smooth road. It's a rough dirt path that this snake is having to go up. But look how determined he is. And so innocently optimistic about a tough journey. He's gonna make it. Alright, drawing complete. And now I'm gonna paint it. Now, in my last video, I was trying to use up the painting wells in here so I could clean them up, but I mean, it went well. I just didn't I didn't use it all, and I don't think I'm going to, because I want to paint this different colors than that. I'm going to paint this with some of my metallic paints, because the snake is, well, it's a good candidate for a shiny scales. That's the word, scales. And I'm not sure which ones. I don't think I'm going to do the whole thing in a shiny look. I think just part of it. And the rest, I'm going to paint. I'm going to use my Da Vinci paints. Because these have a lot, well, this is an earth-friendly palette, but it also is just like very, it's good for painting earth things. That's not what earth-friendly means, obviously. It means it's better for the planet. But it is also friendly for painting the earth, I guess. You know what I mean. Don't paint the earth, but paint a picture of the earth and use these colors. Okay, no, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use these guys. These are some of my favorite brushes, especially if we're doing a small picture like this. When I'm not using this paper, I'll try using like a bigger paper and some bigger brushes. But for now let's see. What color should the snake be? Not sure. And I'm gonna mix up some things, and I don't know if you can see. I'm just gonna mix those there. I'm pretty sure this is gonna look good because these paints always look good. I mean, how can you go wrong with just, sparkles? I mean, they're not all just sparkles. They have, there's pigment in them. But it's very shiny, very sparkly, and it looks great. And I will link these down below if you want to check them out. I had these in another video. I mean, I'll probably have these in a lot of videos. I love using these. And these were all samples I bought from Toe Beans on Etsy. And I can't remember what size these pans are. I think these are half pans. But they're not full, but I'm just, one sample filled up quite a bit of these. And it was also really fun putting them in here. I love putting the paints in the pans and then swatching them and then never using the swatches, as we know. But I love that part of it where you're just organizing them. I guess I like organizing things. I don't see myself as an organized person. I was called organized recently by my doctor, but I don't see myself as being organized. I think, well, I have mixed feelings about that because I'm one of those people who other people would look at and think, they're not organized. What's all this chaos everywhere? And like when I was in school, like my binder would just be like a big mess, but I knew where everything was, So to me, it's not unorganized. I won't say it's not chaos, but it's like fun chaos that I enjoy. But other people might look at it and say, well, that's disorganized, because that's not how they would do it. And now I wouldn't argue that just because they do something different than me means that they're not organized. But it's kind of up for debate what it means to be an organized person. Now, I don't know if I'm an organized person. Like I said, I don't really think of myself that way. But why did I start talking about that? Now I can't remember. Well, anyway. Oh, because I like sorting things out. I like organizing things, but that's different than being organized, I love making plans for stuff. Like, I love having a planner. I love the idea of making a plan, but I don't always like actually doing a plan. And I don't always actually like making a plan either. I just like thinking about it. Or I watch videos of other people making plans. I love Sarra Cannon's videos. She's an author and a planner. I mean, she does a lot of planning. Go check out her channel. It's called Heart Breathings. And I just love watching her plan and talk about planning, and it really inspires me. Even if I don't end up actually doing a plan, I feel better for having watched her plan, if that makes sense. So I'm going to paint this stick. And we want to make sure we know it's a good stick. I'm going to paint this paint all the foreground first because the background is probably also going to be mostly green and brown. So I want to make sure I know which colors I want to have be the green and brown in the foreground so that nothing in the back gets lost. And I kind of put on too much paint there. I'm going to scrub that a little bit. Also, these mica paints, they smell really good. I don't know why they smell so good to me. I have some mica powder. I don't think it smells good necessarily. I don't think it has a smell. But these paints, I don't know what she puts in them, but they smell really good. Okay, so the background, I'm going to paint. I'm going to get out my wells. I'm going to move this over a little bit. And let's use this. Maybe I can actually get rid of some of this green. And then we'll be even closer to cleaning out the palette. Actually, well, that's like 2 of them right now, just taken up. I don't know if you can see that, but these 2. They were green, I mixed them up together, now they're kind of empty. This is a green here and some brown. I don't know what that is. I'm sure I was using it in another video, and I probably said plenty about it at the time, and now I'm like, I don't know what that is. What's that from? Who knows? Somebody knows. But it's not me. There. Oh, look at that. That's so many of these used up. Now, if I only had something really orange to paint. But then, I might end up... Oh, see? Oh, I'm putting some back in here. I could use the wells that are actually in the tin. But I have explained before, I don't really like doing that because then they're wet. Then you'll have to let this dry. I don't like that. Because I don't know. I just want to get to put it away when I'm done and not have it sitting out. So I don't really have space for that. And also, this is easier to get like a wash, like in these wells. And they're really smooth and like, they're good. I have like another one that's like a ceramic one that I got on just like Amazon, but it's like really hard to clean. And I'd gotten it for gouache originally, and that was really hard to clean. I'm not really a gouache person, I don't think. I tried it out. I got some like cheap gouache that I hated. Everybody said it was great, and I was like, I hate this. So then I got some better gouache. I got some like Winsor & Newton gouache, and I really like that one, but it's still maybe not for me. Like, oh wait, that's not the green I wanted. It's better, and I have a lot to learn about it, I think, because it's not like watercolor. I mean, it is a little bit like watercolor. It's kind of like if watercolor and acrylic had a baby, that would be gouache. But it dries really fast, and it's not as fluid as this. And you also have to do a lot of color mixing. Though I have some that are already I have some Maries that I got that are already mixed, and that makes it easier. But I don't know, it's a different kind of painting because it's opaque. And it's not like this where you just you don't really see the ink and the drawing like behind it. Even if you make one, you usually end up painting over it. So in watercolor, you paint you leave the white parts and you kind of paint light to dark. But with more opaque stuff, you tend to paint dark to light because you can still paint over things. And that just it's very different than how I've learned to paint this, I guess. It's not really what I do all the time now. And I do some gouache painting, but it doesn't look as good as the watercolor painting. But it's still fun sometimes, and sometimes I find it really frustrating. So now I think those trees are looking pretty good. I don't know what I want to do back here though. I don't want to leave it white necessarily. I think I want to make it like a darker green. off in the background. So we can just kind of imagine more forest back there. We don't know what's back there. Where do you think the snake is going? Like, what's at the top of this mountain? Is it a challenge he's putting himself through? Is there a prize? Did somebody say, I don't think you can get up this mountain? Or is he just doing it for himself? Like, you know, what's his goal? What's his motivation? He looks so sweet and determined, I think. Like, he's just gonna make it. But it might take him a while, and he's okay with that. He's very patient. And I'm not very patient, and whenever I have a goal, I just want to get there. Like, I admire this snake's patience and his quiet, solid determination. I don't have that. I have solid determination, but it's not usually very quiet. It's like, I gotta have it now. I gotta do the thing now while I'm into it. And if it's hard, that's fine. But it's, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I guess I just get really hyper fixated on things that I want to do or that I like. And then I might go for like several months just doing that thing obsessively. And then I might cycle off to something else, but I'll come back to it. And so in the hyperfixation period, it doesn't really matter like what the difficulty level is of the thing, but I think also it depends on what I'm getting from it, because sometimes I do things that I don't get any sort of like internal or external reward from, if that makes sense. And then that starts to be like, why am I doing this? And that's not usually like how things start, but sometimes that's how things go. And when that happens, then that's tough. And then I think if I could just be like the snake, and if I could just stick with the things that are hard, and maybe there's like some prize at the end. But also, if you're not enjoying the journey, what's the point? And like the snake, I don't think he's not enjoying the journey. He seems fine. He seems peaceful. But if this was like a big slog, like just a really tough slog, and you hated it, and you get up to the top of the mountain, and guess what? There's nothing there. And not only is there nothing there, but there's just like, you step in some dog poop or something, then you're not going to have a good day, and you're going to be like, why? Why did I do this? Why did I think I could, like, get anything from this? And I struggle with that a lot. Obviously, that's not, like, not actually doing that. But there are a lot of things in my life that I have struggled for that then I think there wasn't really anything at the end of it like I thought there would be. And sometimes there was. Sometimes it's a case of like, there used to be, but now there's not. But this snake, I think this is the first time he's gone up this mountain. He's never been here before. But he knows what he wants. And I think he's going to find it when he gets to the top. And now I'm going to paint this path. And I find paths tricky, because in my mind I always want them to be like a certain light brown color. And I don't feel like I ever quite get it. So maybe it should be a darker brown. Maybe what I need to do is get a darker brown and just dilute it more. But maybe paths are more complicated and they're not always just brown. Okay. I mean, it's not the color I was picturing, but it will do. And I'm going to add some more layers to this, because I think it's going to need some more, it's going to need to be more than just like a flat color to really emphasize the difficulty in this trek. Because that's what we're painting. We're painting a trek. So it's a little bit dark. But I think if I add if I add some more stuff there, I think it's going to work. And in the meantime, I'm going to add some not highlights, the opposite of that, some shadows to this snake. And let's hope that this works. Oh yeah, that's a good color. I don't know if this is really how the shadows on the snake would be, but I don't think it matters. Because the point is just to have fun putting the shadows on. And let's see. It's hard to see because it's so shiny. But, you know, I think it could go darker. Oh, the paper is kind of getting a bit warped. But it'll go back. It'll flatten back out. Don't worry about it. And this is really sparkly. I love sparkly paint. I love mica powders. I recently got a paint muller, so I can try and make my own paints, but I don't have all the equipment yet, because you have to have a mulling slab. I don't have a mulling slab. And a mulling slab you can make out of, or use, I don't know if you would say make, because you just use the things. You can use tempered glass, or you can use marble, like a marble slab, like a pastry slab, or you can use granite, a granite slab. I've seen some tempered glass cutting boards like on Amazon, but then they always have people being like, this exploded on me. And I don't want to deal with that. Now, theoretically, they won't explode, but you never know if you're going to get one that might explode. And this, even on like highly rated ones where most people aren't getting that, if anybody's getting that, I'm like, oh, what if it was me? I don't know if I can handle that. I can't even handle it when the toaster goes off. I don't think I can handle like an exploding glass. So, I don't know. I kind of want to get a marble one just so it won't explode. And marble is cool. But like, also, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You don't have to use like a cutting board like that. That's what I'm talking about, is a cutting board. But you don't have to use a cutting board. You could use any tempered glass, really. So I'm hoping to find like a really thick piece. You can also just get something that is specifically a mulling slab, but they're expensive. They cost a lot more than a cutting board. Unless you just buy like a tiny one that's like, you know, the size of this picture. And that could be fine, but also that seems like not enough space. I can't even handle only having that much like mixing space. So I can't imagine having only that much for mulling. And mulling is like you go like this and you just grind up the paint. I mean, you grind it up first and then you mull. Mulling is different than grinding, but I'm not super sure what the difference is. So I'm looking forward to maybe doing that, if it's not too hard. I'm not real clear on like what kind of elbow grease it takes, you know? And if it takes a lot of elbow grease, I might not have it in me. I might not be able to do it. It might not be worth it. But it might be fun. And I might make my own paints. Because I have a bunch of mica powders that I really like. And I'm looking for different things I can make with them. Because I would like to get to use them more. And you don't really need very much. Alright, that's added some texture to this. Maybe texture is the word I was looking for before. And I feel like I kind of, I don't know, maybe scrub that too much. But also, it looks like a dirty path. So that's what I was going for. I would like to add some more shadows, though, to underneath the snake. Because he would cast a shadow. And that's separate from, you know, the dirt of the path. And I'm going to just go ahead and use like a really dark color here. And it's going to dry not this dark. And I'm just trying to make like shapes of the snake and its stick. Now, let's see. Let's try and use some science here. If the light was coming this way, I guess it would do this, but would this stick, like, would it cast more of a shadow like this? I think it might. Does that look right? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think the problem is that the snake's not casting that long of a shadow, so the sun must be, like, just more directly overhead, and so this should not be casting that much. So I'm going to attempt to erase it. I did it. I scrubbed it off. Okay, cool. And I think that still looks good. I would like to get more contrasting color over here, but I'm also afraid of making it too dark. Because, well, maybe I just need to make this part darker. Maybe that will help. I'm not sure how that would help, but I would still like to do it. And I think that adds some more texture to the background. And I'll let it be darker over there. Now, I think if it's darker over here and it lightens up a little bit here, that kind of leaves your eye over here. And I think that's how I want it to be. I'll stop there with that because I really like the shape it's making around the snake. Really highlights him. And here I do want to add something to that. But what? Oh, look, I'm filling up these. I don't know if you can see. You can't see. I'm filling up the wells that I cleaned. That I got clean. They're full now of greens. Again. But you know, that just happens because I use a lot of green. And I need different shades of green. I'm really tempted to have like a much bigger set of these wells, but I know that I would just use them all. It doesn't matter how much mixing space I have, I'll just use it. But I don't know, sometimes maybe if they were smaller, but then I wouldn't have enough room to do a big enough wash. So this is probably what I should stick to. Okay, that I think is good because I think if I keep going, it's going to be too much. And right now, I think it's perfect. I think it has a good balance of darkness and light. I can't think of what that's called at the moment. It starts with a V, I think.
Contrast.
No, not contrast. Well, whatever. So, okay, so I have this. It's dark over here, and there's like some interest here, and I think that kind of leads you around. And there's a space around the snake, so the snake like stands out. And he's climbing up this hill. Not running up the hill, he's trekking up that hill. Very slowly and determinedly, but he's gonna get there. So, do you remember that on Sesame Street? There was like that frog climbing up the tree, and it says, it's a long, long climb, but I'm gonna get there. I think about that a lot. I get that stuck in my head. Speaking of things I get stuck in my head from childhood, which I wasn't speaking of, but I have been periodically on this. So, leave me a comment. Do you remember that? Do you remember, or even if you don't remember that one, which ones get stuck in your head? Oh, do you remember that one with the elephants taking a bath? And it was like splish splash, it was taking a bath. I mean, that song isn't from Sesame Street, but they put it against some like B-roll of some elephants taking a bath. And I think about that a lot too. So let me know what things like that stick in your head decades later. Or even if it's not decades later, because maybe you're much younger and it is more recent for you, it still sticks in your head. It still feels like it's a long time. So let me know. And let me know if you want. Let me know what you think this snake's gonna find at the top of this hill. What is this trek about, and what's he gonna get? And is it gonna be worth it? I think it is. But let me know what you think. So like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time on the Cluttered Corner.